I know that we've got probably several more who are going to be making their way in, but something I was going to do real quick before we have our first guest up, just to give you an update and maybe share a memory or just how the church has impacted them. I wanted to share this letter. We got a letter from Virgil Kaufman, who couldn't be here, but is a Timothy of our church. Virgil, I'm trying to remember what year it was. It's been since I've been here. We ordained Virgil here, and Greg Taylor was here and a part of that. But I'm going to read Virgil's letter he wanted to share with the church. I very much appreciate the invitation. Unfortunately, Melissa and I are moving from Alaska to Arizona in June, and we'll be settling in at our house, our new base, during this time. I would have loved to have been there. Moweaqua First Christian Church is the church that taught me who Christ was the foundational leadership of folks like Terry Maurer and Greg Taylor, who helped shape me into the man of faith I am today. Lord knows that wasn't an easy task. Moweaqua FCC is one of the churches who sponsored me while attending seminary, and because of their investment in me, there are at least 8 people who have a place in heaven and countless men and women who've taken a step closer to Christ as a result. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm living proof of how a village of believers raised me in the faith. Thank you, Virgil Kaufman. So, and we've got, I know, a few more video updates, and we'll just kind of see how this goes and maybe share a couple more of those and get in what we can. But I think we'll just start. Mark, you're right here in the front row. Do you mind kicking us off this morning? I'll have Mark Miller come up. Mark is with us. He shared communion. If you weren't here, he led us in communion first service. But, man, I'm just going to kind of let you take over and update us on your family. And yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
So I shared last hour, 40 years ago next month, Gloria and I were married right here. So, we're getting ready to celebrate 40 years of marital bliss. And I can say that as long as I don't look at her. I'm good. So, and I preached my first sermon here. Thanks to Charlene, I sang in public for the very first time here. Fortunately, a few years later, somebody told me I should never do that again. And in fact, the music professor at Lincoln said, if you have any other talents, use those. So that's what I've been doing for the last almost 40 years of ministry. The longest period of time was 25 years at Indian Creek Christian Church in Indianapolis. Went there when the church was about between 250 and 300 and left when it was about 4,000. Going through transition, and I've actually over the last 3 years had several transitions, and now I'm currently working for Central India Christian Mission. Dr. Ajay and Indu Lal, they're friends of ours that go back almost 3 decades, and I've been to India 5, 6, 7 times. And so they came to me almost 2 years ago in October, and asked me if I would come and work with them doing church relations and raising funds for the ministry. And not what I thought I'd be doing at this season of life, but it's what God has me doing, and I'm thankful for the opportunity. Gloria and I have 3 daughters, 5 grandchildren. We have a daughter who lives in Indianapolis, and we're actually living with her right now. We just got through remodeling a 125-year-old Victorian home and thought it was a good time to get out of that. So my oldest daughter keeps saying, are you guys ever going to work on a house and get to enjoy it? And it's like, that's not the way the money works, You put your money in, you take your money out. So we're living with our middle daughter, Brittany, and her son, Aiden, who's 11 years old, over 5'10" and 185 pounds. So, yeah, he's a hunk. And our oldest daughter, Ashley, lives up in Milwaukee, just moved there just a couple of months ago. Her husband's the assistant basketball coach at Marquette. So since they've been married, they've been all over the country. And this is as close as they've been to us. So we're looking forward to being able to spend a little bit more time with her and her 4 kids that she has. And then our youngest daughter, Callison, is a school teacher out in Denver. serving out there. So, it's like, as I said last hour, if you weren't here, you didn't get a chance to hear it, but you may hear it this next hour. Every time I come here, it's a homecoming. Every time I come here, it's a reunion. So many memories took place in this place, and so many people in this place had an impact upon my life. Just 2 years, not quite 2 years after Gloria and I got married, she was actually invited to go to a week of camp with Preacher Jim and people from this church, and I'd gone there as a child but hadn't been back for years, and I said, well, you can go if I can go. I really didn't belong there. I wasn't at a season of life that I should have been, but as it turned out, God called me to ministry through that, and the impact of so many people that were there, the people I see now, and seeing them means a lot more to me than seeing me means to them, but I'm thankful for that. So I really do appreciate the investment that this church has had upon my life, and the opportunity is just to come back and to see you and to give thanks. So thank you all for everything you've done. God bless.
Mark has continued really to have a huge influence here too, and just it's been about 3 years ago now when we went through intentional churches, and Mark really mentored me for a year. I got to spend time with him, and he just kind of poured into our leadership and our vision, and so Mark, thank you. You've been a valuable resource to us. Fall of 2016, I think I watched as much baseball with Brennan as I've watched with just about anybody. We watched the Cubs' entire playoff run across the street in the parsonage, many nights with a baby monitor, so I could keep an eye on our kids as we were watching their incredible run, and got to share that. And I was just sharing with him this week. I shared it in first service that when I talked to him earlier this week, I told him, like, man, all these guys leaving the Cubs is hard. And I remember Anthony Rizzo. He's just my favorite Cub ever. And I told him, I said, that one hurt the worst. I was heartbroken. And he said to me, he said, dude, I named my dog Rizzo. I can't even talk to my dog right now. So it's just so good to see him. I'm thankful for him and his ministry. And so, Brennan, if you want to come on up and share an update with us, that would be awesome. Brennan Nassif. It's on. Yep.
Nothing yet. There we go. Good job. So I'm Brennan, if you know who I am. Currently, me and my wife, we live in a small town in northwest Iowa called Sutherland of 500 or 600 people, so very small. But right after here, we moved to my hometown and was able to do ministry with my dad for about a year. And then we moved up to Sutherland. We've been there for 2 years now. We're in the middle of selling our house and buying a house right now, so it's super busy time. Jenny starts school again real soon with the kids, and we have Fletcher. He's 16 months, and we have a kid on the way. Yeah, thanks. So I'm supposed to say don't put anything on Facebook, I guess. It's not super public yet, so I made sure it was okay. I made sure it was okay that I said something, though. So that's where we're at now. When I first went to the church I'm at now, I was the children through youth, so birth through high school. And then really from COVID, our church has been pretty blessed. We've grown a lot financially and with a lot of new people at our church. We've had a ton of baptisms. God has just done some really amazing things with us. So we were in need of a third staff member, and we had a job open up as a discipleship ministry. And I felt God calling me to that. So I have transitioned into discipleship/children's ministry, and we hired a high school minister. I realized high school wasn't for me. I like hanging out with the younger kids more. So I'm still doing that, and then doing our discipleship stuff. So doing stuff with small groups and getting new members involved and seeing where they can serve in areas and really trying to help people grow in their new faith. So that's where I'm at now. This church has meant a lot to me. I think about you guys a lot. It was my first ministry out of college. I interviewed at a bunch of places before here, and while I was interviewing at a church in Effingham, I got a phone call from Les Evans saying you guys were looking for a children's minister. So I was able to stay an extra few days and come hang out with Ryan and Kyle and Les, and things went from there. And God has just really blessed me from my ministry here. I was able to learn a lot, able to grow a lot as a minister, able to learn how to run a VBS and Christmas program with feeling like I had no idea what I was doing those times. But God was able to allow those things to happen and to do fairly well, I think. But yeah, just the people have built some awesome relationships with people here. I've missed a lot of you guys. Just some memories from those, like Ryan was saying, watching Cubs games, watched a ton of Cubs games over in the parsonage. Was able to go fishing a decent with Les and Brian Wade, and went golfing a ton. Had Trevor Higgins over to play some NBA 2K. I usually beat him, so you can make fun of him for that. Was able to play in church softball, and was able to be a part of an awesome small group with people who genuinely cared and loved one another. So, am I supposed to say anything else? I think that's all I had. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Ryan has a funny story to tell.
My favorite Brennan memory. So his brother was here visiting, his older brother Jared, for the weekend. And so Brennan and Les asked me, they were like, hey, they didn't ask me to go golf with them. They just said, we're going golfing. Can we use your clubs? Can Jared use your clubs? And I said, sure, that's fine. And so that Monday morning I came in, and usually always I'm the first one in the office during the week. But that day I came in, and Brennan was here, and he was walking a path in the hall, kind of pacing, and I was like, man, what's going on with Brendan? I'm in my office then, and pretty soon Brendan comes walking in my office with my driver in two hands. He had the head of the driver in one, and he was just he was like, dude, here's the thing. So Jared used your clubs. It was great. Him and Les were like, I wasn't playing very well, but they were like, hit Ryan's driver. Swing Ryan's driver, it'll be good. And Brennan said he was like, no. And they were like, yeah. And so then Brennan was like, I swung, I hit the ball, I didn't hit the ground, but the head of the driver just took off. So, yeah, I was just like, dude, don't worry about it. But I think he had a rough morning that day.
Well,
so
the head went farther than the ball did.
Yeah.
That did happen. And it was only 2 months after I was here, so
yeah.
Broke my boss's club, so.
Yeah, it was okay. It was good. Lloyd is going to come up here in a minute. Before he does, we're going to show, I said we had some video updates. This is a video update we got from Jason Burkhart.
Hey, greetings, Moweaqua Christian Church. This is Jason Burkhart. I am a lead pastor in Olney, Illinois at a church called Elm Street Christian Church. Love my church, love my people. They're great. But I just want to say greetings to you guys. I wanted to let you know that it's still a sense of pride to be able to say, that's where I grew up. Yeah, that's my home church. I don't know why the pride is. I don't know if it's because of the long lineage of Timothys that you guys were so good at pumping out. And I've also, in my ministry, tried to emulate what was done to me so that I could do to other people, to encourage them in their walk and sending people out, kids out to the ministry. So I just want to say thank you for what you guys have done. Means a lot to me. I thought I'd share a couple stories to help you understand even how I got to where I am today. If you know me, sometimes I'm a little crazy. I owe that to you guys. So thank you for making me crazy. Anyway, a lot of people ask me, they're like, hey, was Terry Maurer one of your ministers? And yeah, that was part of my era, was Terry Maurer. But Terry Maurer was the key factor in me going into ministry. I still remember going out to wilderness camp. I remember exactly where we're standing out on a dirt road in front of that old outbuilding. And basically, Terry said, I already had in my head what I was going to do with my life. I was going to be a nurse anesthetist and pump people full of drugs legally. And Terry asked, what does God want you to do? And I was a junior. And it was junior, senior summer. I was like, I've never thought of this before. But immediately when he asked that, I knew I need to be a minister. I need to go serve, love God, love people. It was a no-brainer for me. So just that one quick question was a switch, but I didn't have a lot of experience with Terry as far as those long talks. My long talks were always with the youth sponsors, the normal lay people, the people who loved Jesus and just wanted other people to know more about Jesus. And so I wrote down some fun things that happened to me at Moweaqua while growing up. One, 4th grade, Mrs. Wooders taking me over to her house to make cookies. It's like nobody had done that for me. The troublemaker 4th grader, invited me to make cookies. I thought I was king of the universe. And Mrs. Wooders would ask me to go make cookies. I'm probably the most popular guy ever. And then I get into 6th grade and the Rutherfords were teaching. I still remember Aaron Dial and I, 6th grade, playing underneath the table, refusing to come out for class because we were playing under the table. I'm thinking nowadays, what 6th graders are playing underneath the table? It's so strange. But for some reason, we were that people. So they never gave up on me. And then I get more towards high school. I remember beating Lee Miller all the time in wrestling. Back at grain trucks in the middle of the youth room. Cindy Miller taught me Farkle. I still play Farkle to this day. One of the best games ever. Gary Simmons, I remember him. A communion meditation he gave. Remember, reflect, and respond. Still, those 3 R's are stuck in my head. I don't know how. I don't remember hardly any other lessons. But I also remember Jeff Cole asking him about God's omnipresence and omniscience. It's like, Jeff, why would God be in that room over there? It makes no sense. Is he wasting power? And if he's wasting power, isn't that dumb of God to be able to do that? And Jeff Cole said the best answer I've ever had. I don't know, Jason, but I'm going to go find out. And I'll bring you the answers next week. And next week, he brought me tons of answers. Like that's still just plugged in my head. Like never give up on trying to answer people and help them walk in their faith. So all these different people that have made a huge impact on me. Basically, I look at trips, going with other people, doing certain things. I look at them as anchors in your faith, right? The events that happen to you that solidify your faith a little bit more. Those relationships, and I want to let you know, Moweaqua Church, you are an anchor in my faith. I always look to you as a sense of pride of those people poured into me, made a huge difference on me. I still think about that and still want to pour into other people because of what you did. So don't quit doing that. Keep fighting the good fight. I love you guys. I don't even know probably half of you now or more. So thank you for what you do.
Okay. Lloyd, if you want to come on up. You don't need this. You've got your mic, right? Man, I'm so thankful for this guy and everything that he's done for me. And, we've been hearing about the church and what he's the best. He's the best. So, Lloyd,
I'm not the best, but I used to do this. I still got it.
My favorite Lloyd moment, we were just talking about it this past week. Lloyd used to come over here in his shorts and just a t-shirt, barefooted, and he'd be running around the building, turning things off and stuff. And I come in one Monday morning, he couldn't hardly walk. And I was like, Lloyd, what happened? And he's like, come with me. And we come in here, and the first 2 rows of chairs were taken out. I mean, they were just a mess. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, came running through here the other night, ran across the front, forgot the steps were in the front. I hit those front steps, and I took the whole first 2 rows of chairs out. Lloyd. That's Lloyd.
Oh, yeah, it's been fun. It's been great here. I had lots of fun and enjoyed our struggles together, and it's been great. In 2016, I am a Cubs fan, and I was at Reed Church when they played the final game, and I was in a hotel with Rick Keck, and about fell asleep because there was a rain delay. See, I am a Cub fan. I know what's going on. And I live down in Tennessee where the Smokies are a farm league for the Cubs. So I got to see a lot of those players play before they got to the majors. Anyway, I had a W flag, and when they won, I took it to Reed Church, and I was flying that everywhere, every class we went to. It's just great. 2016 was a good year. This year is not so good. Another thing I got to say is that when I went to Oak Ridge to a small church, and I thought, well, this is going to be easy. It's a small church, not very many people, not very many problems. Wrong. There was a lot of drama in a small church. It's been tough. It's been real tough. One thing, though, about it is when I got there, there was this Debbie Poe, and she married David Poe, but she is the niece of Phip Sams. And she keeps me in contact with Phip, and Phip has responded, and Sarah had a stroke, if you know, and is doing fairly well, recovering in a home, but that's sort of the connection. Go anywhere, and you'll find somebody you know or know someone, and it's great to know. I stepped down from the church May 30th. And I don't have a church right now. I don't like to say I'm retired. I like to say I'm a professional cyclist now. I ride my bike all the time. In fact, I'm preparing to ride across America in September. It's been canceled 3 times during the pandemic with 12 other riders, but we're going September and riding across America for Habitat for Humanity. And basically, I've raised about $15,000 for Habitat for Humanity. And if you want to donate, that's okay. It's Clinch River, Habitat for Humanity, Kingston and Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Anyway, you can go online and do that. But anyway, I'm not after that at all. It's just been great. Susan and I, we love the life we're living. She's still working. That's why I love the life I'm living right now. I'm not. She likes to spend money, so I can't say anything as long as she keeps working, you know. And we just love the place where we're living, and we got a youngest daughter that's not married. So if you know anyone, any man that's 30 years of age, we need to get her married off. She quit teaching this year because it really got 11 years of teaching. It really was a struggle for her, so she quit and got a real job where she doesn't have to prepare lessons during the night and weekends, and she loves it. But when she went from 2nd grade to 6th grade teaching, we packed all of her 2nd grade books. I got 10 totes of 2nd grade books in my garage attic. And I finally found out, I said, why don't we just give these to McKay's, the bookstore, and you can buy new ones later. And she said, you get me a husband and I'll take the totes out of the garage. She's planning on reading those to her children, so we got to find her a husband. I'm getting old, and we got a grandson that's going to get married next year in August. He's getting his master's and up at University of Illinois, him and his fiance. My son Brian and his wife work at the University of Illinois, and they're doing great. They're just, it's a blessing to have them. And I'm trying to get him over to Danville, where Greg Taylor is the minister there. Trying to get him to go there. He's not too far, 20 miles to Danville, whatever. And then our Angela is over at Sullivan. That's where we stay. We call it the Del Ponte Hotel. And they're gone usually all the time. They live on a boat on the lake. And so we basically have the house to ourselves and the dog, Cooper. And we just love staying there. It's just been great. And her and her family are doing great as well. And there are 2 youngest grandsons that will be freshmen this year. Kendrick, Brian's son, is 6'1", and he can dunk it. Be looking for, his brother went to state in 2A. I think Ed was there. Is Ed Hanley in here? He's not. Yeah, remember Colton played state up there? You were there? Well, his son is even better. And hopefully that class will get there too Anyway, that's about it for me. I am probably going to be looking for ministry next year after I get refreshed. The pandemic really wore me out. We never missed a Sunday church. I set up a FM transmitter. Most of the people were the older generation, and I provided the music. I even played a little of the keyboard to help them out a little bit because it was so easy. I could just hit a button and do everything. They loved the drive-in type. They would get their communion like you, and we'd print out the bulletin with songs in it. I had people coming that I'd never seen before, and it was great. And they really didn't want to go back inside. And I think it was because they could always turn the sermon off, turn the music down. But they're good-hearted people. Oak Ridge basically lived there since 1941 when they started the Manhattan Project of building the A-bomb. And so it's a government town and about 30,000 people now. And it's great bicycle riding if you like climbing hills. So that's about it. Any questions? Thank you. This guy here has been a blessing to me too. I remember interviewing him, and he came on board, and we've been good friends since, and probably not close enough at times, but I love you, man.
We've got 2 more video updates that we're going to show real quick, and then we're just going to, hopefully we'll be done early, and you can visit with Lloyd and with Brennan and with Mark and Gloria up here. So come up and say hi. But first, we've got a video here from Brian Shearer.
Wow, 125 years, that's a long time. I am so thankful that my family had moved to Moweaqua. I believe it was in the fall of 1976, and that we ended up at the First Christian Church of Moweaqua, Illinois. I know our lives were changed, and for everyone there who has ever taught one of my Sunday school classes or youth groups, drama club, summer camp, booster club, I know I am eternally grateful, and I know that we all have so much to be thankful for the church and also for its future. So prayers to you all during this special celebration, and thanks for making a difference in my life. And I just know that the church continues to be in so many of our prayers, no matter where we end up in life. So blessings to you all on this special occasion.
That was the one update I watched, and I thought, I'm a Timothy, and I'm back here, and I saw those palm trees and the water, and I thought, really? I forgot, we actually have 2 more, don't we? There was one that wasn't on my list, but this one is from Sean Case.
Greetings, First Christian Church. My name is Sean Case, and I literally feel like I grew up in this building. In fact, I don't have very many memories outside of this place. When the decision was made to take the stained glass cross off the front of the building, I purchased that just to remind me of where the passion started to go into ministry. Currently, I live in Dayton, Ohio. I've been serving there about 15 years. Not too long ago, I got a letter from the Homecoming Committee, and they asked several of us to send in a video and talk about the impact that FCC had on our lives. The word impact has so many different connotations, but to me it's memories. And I started thinking about all the memories I had from this place, from youth group to trips to Turkey Run to going to Fairhavens every Wednesday night to the nursing home to playing hide and seek with my friends when we were little. And unbeknownst to us, Preacher Jim would jump in and scare us every time. But just lots of memories. First Christian Church was the first place that I got caught stealing. When I was little, I was a whirlybird. And I went into the classroom and I had my beanie out and I was going through the little trinkets and I was going to attach them to my beanie and be the man the next week. But Lucille Pyatt came in and caught me. She was very gracious, but it left an impact. And since then I've stolen a little less. You also did these things, these revivals, and a part of those, the kids would all come together early and we would memorize scripture. And I hated that. No matter how much I tried, the girls would always memorize more than me. And to this day, I have PTSD with memorizing scripture, which is a terrible attribute for a minister. But I had so many great memories here as a kid. This was my clubhouse. This was my place to explore both, like literally, and just to talk about my faith. Hours with Terry Maurer and so many great youth leaders and Sunday school teachers just investing in me. This is my safe place. This is my home. And I would be remiss if I didn't give gratitude to Steve and Charlene Case, my parents, who drugged me to this building literally 4 times a week at least, from the time I was little till I went away to college. And as I got older, this was a place where I made friends. In fact, I was counting back then. In the 28 years I've been in ministry, I have served on staff with over 6 people that came out of this place, which is remarkable for any church, let alone a small church in Central Illinois. I can't think of a place that has sent out more kingdom workers than this place. This is the place where I got married. This is a place where I had the privilege to be a part of a funeral of my best friend. We do this exercise where I serve now, a place called Southbrook. And we go through, would it make a difference if we weren't here? Would anybody miss us? And I would say First Christian Church, if you had never existed, the kingdom would be a little smaller. The world would be a lot dimmer. This place matters, and it's mattered for the last 125 years. And my encouragement to you is, man, do this for another 125.
We have one more, and it is our preacher last week. It's Jim Reed's daughter, Sherry. So,
hello, all you beautiful people. This is Sherry Reed Sarnecki here. How are you all? I wish I could be there with you in person, but someone's got to hold the fort down here at Winter Haven Christian Church, because I have had the calling of having my dream job of serving at Winter Haven Christian Church with my dad. Isn't that awesome? It is a dream come true. My husband Mark and I have been down here for a year now, and we have just been loving it, and finally found our forever Florida home and have recently just moved in there. So we are excited to be down here serving as the youth director here at Winter Haven Christian Church alongside with Mom and Dad. It's just been an awesome pleasure. I've had 2 previous ministries within the last 15, 16 years, one in Whiting, Indiana, and one in Griffith, Indiana. And so coming down here has just been an honor and a pleasure, and has just been great. We do get some things done around here, but it's wonderful. So enjoy Mom and Dad up there. We love you so very much, and the memories of Moweaqua Christian Church just fill the heart. Fill the heart so very much, and wonderful memories of my childhood and growing up. You are loved. Have a great time. God bless. Bye.
okay, I'm going to say a prayer for us, and then, like I said, find Lloyd, find Mark, find Brennan, say hi, and catch up with them. Let's pray. God, this has been such a special time every week, just to see people, to hear what they're doing for your kingdom, God, and to remember their time and their ministry here as well, Father. And God, I'm just so thankful. I've been so blessed. Father, we just are reminded of this through all of these updates. God, you've been so good and so faithful. And we're just thankful to be a part of your church and your kingdom. God, we love you and we thank you for Jesus. We pray these things in his name. Amen.